When your parent calls you, how do you feel? Are you anxious, nervous? Do you feel a sense of dread coming on? Maybe you're sort of emotionally guarding yourself for whatever is about to be put upon you. When you end that conversation with your parent, do you feel worse than you did before the call? Do you find yourself questioning your life choices, feeling bad about yourself? Because you're not alone. If you have a narcissistic parent, or even just a parent who you consider difficult, this is for you, the Narcissistic Parent Bingo card. What this is intended to do is to turn our difficult conversations into sort of a game of pattern recognition. We become investigators of our parents' bad behavior and patterns, and they don't even know that we are studying them. They don't know that we've got receipts. They don't know that we are tracking them. The fact that we can spot these patterns of behavior across your parent, my parent, and so many other millions of people out there mean that the problem is not ours, okay? So if there's a pattern to be found, it means that the trouble usually exists where that pattern is found. It allows us to go hands off a little bit and say, okay, if they are this predictable, what does that mean? What does it really mean when they are that predictable that we can literally play a game with their behavior? That means their behavior is independent of us. It's not dependent on us being difficult, us having a bad day, us provoking them. They are the problem. They're just looking for reasons that plug in to what they want to feel and what they want to do. These behaviors on this bingo card, I've got numbered squares for each one. We're going to talk through them. And my hope is that you will print out one page for every conversation you have. So this is my bingo folder. Inside of this, I've printed 5 copies of the bingo card. So every time I have a call with my narcissistic parent, I would be recording which of these behaviors they show on that call, that specific call. And the next time we have a phone call, we're looking for those same patterns. And if we've got 4 or 5 or 10 phone calls worth of information to look at, that's really going to show us, wow, they're doing the same thing over and over. They're always comparing us to someone else. They're always trying to find a way to put down our career, or they're trying to find a way to make us feel like we're 10 years old again. Those things are really going to help us stay grounded in reality because we're seeing their behaviors repeat and repeat and repeat, no matter what we do. Because early on in life, that's what we were told. Their moods or whatever it was were blamed on us. We tend to take that on over time, and this is gonna help us break that. Download the bingo card. It's available right now on Google Drive. I'm not asking for any personal information or anything. You should just be able to click the link and download the file, check it out. If your parent is appropriate for this card, if you're able to check off the boxes on this repeatedly, conversation after conversation, you are not the problem. You are definitely not the problem. Okay, let's jump in. I'm gonna jump into bingo. On here, you're gonna see this has room for a date, right? And then every single square on here is numbered so that you can really get a sense of what number square you're hitting over and over and over again. That's the purpose of this. Square number 1, they insult your career or your lifestyle. Examples of this would be them talking about how they wish you had done something else with your career, or they wish you lived somewhere else. Maybe they're criticizing where you went to school, what your degree was. I can't believe you bought that house, or I can't believe you live with so-and-so. I can't believe you are partnered with so-and-so. Number 2 is when they play the victim. This can literally be anything. As you know, they can find anything that you share and turn it into somehow a weapon against them. For example, a friend of mine recently told their father they were going on a sponsored trip overseas, and their parent, rather than being happy for them, decided to play the victim, make it all about themselves and say, oh, so you're not gonna take me? Why didn't you invite me to go? Another example would be if you spend time with another family member without them, they're gonna turn into the victim. They might play the victim when it comes to someone else and how that person is treating them. They're gonna turn it into some reason that they've been mistreated, that everybody's against them. So this is gonna be an easy one to cross off, and you might have multiples in one conversation. All of these might actually show up in multiples. Number 3, they make a comparison to insult you. Well, your cousin went to law school, or your sister or brother had no issue with taking me to my doctor's appointment, but somehow you do. You don't care. They might make a comparison about the way you dress, the way you act, the way you respond to something. If they are comparing you to someone else and it's intended to make you feel like you are less than somehow, That's what this square would represent. Number 4, they talk about your past mistakes. Number 5, they ask inappropriate questions. So they love the shock value, and they will sometimes pull out this crazy question or a crazy statement that they expect us to respond to that we absolutely should not. But they'll say things like, well, how often are you being intimate with your husband or wife? And they make it seem like we are the problem if we react strongly and say, well, that's kind of out of line. Oh, what, you can't handle, blah, blah, blah. They're going to antagonize us no matter what, but they love the shock value. So anything that they say that seems inappropriate, out of line, mark that square. Square number 6 is that they're going to minimize your feelings. So if you say, yeah, that was really hard on me, they're going to make it seem like you don't have a right to feel the way you feel. Whatever you're feeling is ridiculous. It's not worth their time to hear about, so they're going to say whatever they can to make you feel like you shouldn't talk about it. If we have emotional needs, they are totally shut down. Number 7, they claim they sacrifice so much for you. And this can come up at any time. Well, I can't believe you chose to do this when I gave so much to make sure you could do XYZ, but you chose to do A, right? It could come up that way. It could be, if you have a complaint about your childhood or a question, they're gonna just take it as an opportunity to over-dramatize their output. They're gonna make you feel like you owe them indefinitely, forever and ever. Number 8, they claim they're naturally better at something than you are. They might say things like, oh, well, you were never really very good at math, or your memory's always been really bad, or you definitely didn't get your genes for athletics from me. They're going to make it seem like they are superior to you. Most narcissistic parents will do this pretty regularly, unfortunately, and they do it just here and there. They just slip it in there just to reassert their dominance, to reassert their authority, their expertise, whatever it is. They're going to claim that they are better at something than you are. A lot of times though, they're claiming authority or expertise in something that they have no right to. But because they think that repetition will turn something true, so they will repeat it over and over for decades on end sometimes, until we realize, oh wait, you didn't even go to college. And yet you're trying to tell me that I'm not good at studying, that I'm somehow not great at being an adult, that you are. They might give unwanted advice. They love to do this. And again, these are things that all parents might do at certain times, but we're looking at patterns. So if they do this every time or every other time you talk to them, that's a sign that they really are walking all over your boundaries. They really don't seem to care how you're being affected by things. They might rewrite history. That's a big one. Narcissistic parents do this all the time. It could be about anything that you experienced as a child. It could be something that happened last week. It could be just your last conversation that you're saying, hey, I thought you said XYZ. They're going to rewrite history to fit their narrative today. All that matters is proving themselves right today. Number 11, they fake incompetence to get help. This is a fun one. They will claim like they have no understanding of something. They'll claim that they absolutely can't call someone, get something answered. Somehow they're the victim of something. Someone's putting something on them that they don't know how to do, that they need help with. They need your time and attention. It might be an emergency, but they will act like they can't get through something without you dedicating your full attention and time to them. So it's weaponized incompetence. It comes up all over the place, truly. Oh, I just don't know how this TV remote works. Okay, I guess then you as the child have to come over and help them with that. And meanwhile, you're going to stay for 3 hours and hear all about their neighbor and, your siblings or who knows what else. Number 12 is one of my favorites. They gossip about someone you don't know. Narcissists are notorious for just gossiping in general. They love to find criticism about other people and talk about it with everybody as though it's fact. Most of the time, the person, especially if you don't know them very well directly, they can't defend themselves and you can't defend them. So you're just stuck listening to these repeated stories about how awful someone is, or how they've made this horrible mistake, or how something bad is happening to someone and maybe they deserve it. But you don't care. I don't care. But they'll keep going as though we care. They want to get that dramatic effect. They want to get the shock value. They want to put someone down. Maybe they're trying to underhandedly say hey, I'll criticize you too if you screw up. It's all this big charade of I'm the authority. As long as I'm the one criticizing other people, then they can't come look at me, because then it just looks like they're bitter. It's a game for them. Number 14, claims that you were a difficult kid. A lot of narcissistic parents will tell stories. One of my siblings said, well, we were just so difficult as children. You know, we were stuck in the house, we had ADD, and so of course we were driving our parent crazy. What? No? Okay, like it really wasn't that bad, but the parent will overplay the difficulties of you as a child to excuse any bad behavior that comes up. If they can't refute the bad behavior and say, oh, that didn't happen, they're gonna find a way to blame us for it. So mark it down. Number 15, they take credit for your success somehow. So if you do get a promotion at work and they were the ones that encouraged you to apply to the job, they're gonna try to take credit for all of the good things that happen, because they definitely can't give that to you. Like one of my stepmom's favorite things to say was like, see, I told you so. They love that. They love it. Number 16 is a big one. They will like sort of compartmentalize and hide information to create stress within us. So they'll withhold certain things from you until last minute. Well, I didn't want to bother you. You know, grandmom's in the hospital. I didn't want to bother you. I know you're so busy. It makes you look like you're the uncaring, out of touch, you know, uncompassionate person. And they're the ones in the know, holding on to information. It's a very sick, twisted game they play. I've heard of people whose parents will say things like, you need to call your sister right now. And they're like, well, okay, why? What's going on? Is something wrong? You need to call her right now. I'm not gonna explain. She'll have to be the one to tell you. Like these games to try to get a rise out of us, to try to make us feel out of the loop, like disconnected. They love that shit. And it sort of sets us up for this oh, they could call and drop a bomb at any minute or text us something really vague that we feel like we have to respond to. It's a way for them to continually bait us. Mom or dad must have information that I don't have, so I have to respond. So they have to use these little cryptic messages to get us at max response level. It's so pathetic. Number 17, they'll talk about their mortality, and they weaponize their mortality to make us feel bad. Well, you'll feel sad when I'm gone, for missing Thanksgiving or for, not being able to take them to a doctor's appointment. It could be anything, any level, big or small. They might call out and say, well, I'm not going to be alive much longer. The irony is that narcissists actually tend to live longer because they don't take on the stress that the rest of us do. They don't have empathy like we do. So they don't actually feel that physiological stress response. They can fake it pretty well, but they're not actually suffering through anything. So of course they live longer. And so their talk about mortality is truly just a ploy. It's a manipulation. Turns your good news into bad news. This is square 18. If you call or share any type of good news, they're gonna find some way to make it bad. So, for example, you're on a new program of losing weight, you're getting healthy, you're working out, you're eating right. They're gonna say to you, maybe you should see a doctor. Or they're gonna say, you care so much about how you look. Why can't you just be happy and be satisfied? They will not usually congratulate or celebrate your efforts. It's very interesting, especially if you're the scapegoat. Scapegoat success is put down almost immediately. They will not accept it. It doesn't fit their narrative. They don't want to hear it. So they're going to minimize it right away and make it seem like your good news is overblown, undeserved. It's definitely not that great. So don't think you're all that. Number 19, they share negative third-party feedback about you. This is one of the big ones. So we've talked about triangulation. Many people know triangulation is when they pull in another person to try to reinforce their position on something, to try to control the narrative, to try to make us feel isolated. They will bring someone else into the conversation. And then they will take that tiny bit of information and they will share it with you as though that person had all of the facts, right? It's a way for them to make us feel unsafe getting support from other people. If they make us feel like we're all alone in this scenario, in whatever it is, or that they've got a connection to other people and that they've already shared information, they know that we are less likely to go and share our truth, to be open, to discuss things. We are not going to go seek that support from other people if we feel like the parent has already shared this information and gotten a judgment from these other people. It's a very sick and sadistic way that they maintain control over us, other people, and the entire conversation. 75% of the time, the conversation is not what they are claiming it is. The person's response is not what they're claiming it is. And they're just twisting it to make you feel bad So pick up the phone and call that person if you have questions. Don't play into their narrative in any way. Number 20, they continue talking after you attempt to end the phone call. Many of us know what this is like. Hey, I've really got to go. I told you I have an appointment at 2. Oh, right. Well, I was going to tell you about this other thing. Oh, I didn't have a chance to tell you about your cousin. Oh, or they'll just keep talking. So if we are the one trying to draw the boundary and say, I need to end this conversation now for some other reason, they're going to try to push right through that and see if they can control it. They're going to see if they can actually become more important than whatever other plans we have. And they love to know where that boundary is, so they push and push and push. Some of the longest phone calls of my life are with narcissistic people. I don't know about you guys, but that has been my experience, where they will refuse to pick up the cues, they refuse to get hints, or they look at them and they go, yeah, F you, I'm gonna take what I want. So mark that square if they don't let you get off the phone when you are very clearly trying to do so. Number 21, they complain about something that you did to them. Maybe you said no to something, somehow you've inconvenienced them. How could you do this thing? And it's usually something that you never would have been able to foresee they were gonna react to, something that they should never have expected. They will turn it against you as though they had every right to expect that from you, and you've now let them down. Number 22, they claim to be intuitive or special. These are the parents who will definitely say, you know, I had a feeling something was going on with you, after they've dug and dug and dug for bad information. Yeah, I just sensed something was going on. They try to make it seem like they're in touch with you somehow. It's like this fake enmeshment to try to get you to feel like you owe them an explanation. You owe them updates on your life. So you should have to come and validate their feelings somehow. They get a sense of things and they're always right. They love to say that, well, I'm always right. You know I'm always right. It's not true. They just think that by saying that over and over, they get to become right, but it's not how it works. Number 23, they turn the call into a quest for validation or pity. This ties in a little bit with the victim narrative that is, you know, at the top of the bingo card. But basically, it's like they'll ask you some minor questions about you or me, and then they immediately turn it back to themselves, and it's a way for them to basically unload on you whatever they are feeling or thinking about and how important their feelings and events are. You know, they'll talk about some argument they had with someone else to try to give you a chance to take their side, you know, to earn their approval, to get your good job. Or they'll play the victim and they want you to prove your care and concern for them by showing them pity. They throw a pity party and they invite everybody to come. Number 24, they deny their own bad behavior. I can't tell you, I mean, this could come up 20 times in a phone call. Who knows? Depends on what comes up in the call. If there's an opportunity for them to deny their bad behavior, they will. They will not take ownership. Narcissists do not take ownership for anything. If they say yes, okay, I did that, there's always a reason that it's someone else's fault, or it's your fault, or it's something they couldn't control. So really, you can't blame them, obviously. Well, Mom, maybe your neighbor wouldn't be so rude to you if you stopped parking on her lawn. You know, like, well, you know, I only do that because of this, and I, you know, They're going to deny that they are acting badly and calling upon themselves the ire of someone else. If someone else is after them, they will act so innocent, like they have no idea what they did wrong. A lack of accountability across the board. Number 25, the last one. This is a catch-all. They're going to criticize how you look, how you eat, how you dress, how you manage time, how you make choices. Hypercritical parents like this will find a reason to criticize you no matter what. You could invent fire. You could build a car. You could fly to the moon. You could become an astronaut. A narcissistic parent, no matter what, is going to find a way to criticize you. And overall, the narcissist really believes that by criticizing other people constantly, it makes them really untouchable from other people's criticism. So if they're the first one to put someone down, they're assuming that they're entitled to that opinion being true. And unfortunately, a lot of other people don't realize what's going on, and they believe that. And they sort of like use that criticism to set a precedent of like, I'm hard to please. I'm not just going to be the nice guy. Just because you did XYZ, I'm not going to like celebrate you. Who do you think you are? What have you done for me lately? So that is the rundown. The center square is, of course, the guilt trip. And that is because they use this as a standard for almost everything. This falls into every other category. So that's a given. I've got more on this in the future, but essentially, these patterns will allow us to almost cartoonize our parents. If we can sort of turn them into a character of themselves of like, wow, that's kind of just who you are, that really changes the narrative for us, where we're no longer accepting what they say as legitimate, because it's not. Anything they think, feel, say has nothing to do with you or me. It has everything to do with their insecurities, their projections, and their lack of ability to be an adult. They're children inside. As children of narcissists, we were trained very early to compartmentalize information, to minimize our struggles, to minimize our trauma, and to forgive the narcissist's behavior. So the next piece that I release is going to be about us recording our personal history in a way that keeps it top of mind, that keeps us just a little bit angry so that we can set boundaries and not give in and not keep hoping for a different result from the same behavior from this very difficult person. Let me know what you think. I hope you'll download it, check it out, give it a try. I want to know what your experience is and if these are relatable to you at all. If any of these really jump out at you, or if you start to see a pattern, please leave a comment below with which ones are really repeating themselves for you and what you think it means for you. I would love to hear what your experience is, because they are all different. All of our experiences are a little bit different, but they all underneath kind of represent that same really self-centered, emotionally immature parent behavior that we get blamed for way too long. So you're not alone. All right. Thanks. I'll be back soon. Bye.